Hi everyone, this is Sar from Boltport. I wanted to show you a few tricks that I use when I assemble boards and put kits together. This is the Smart Card Analysis tool. You see these turrets they're single pin. There's not much holding them onto the board, and in order to solder them, what I do is I put them in place like that, and then I'll use Captain tape. Captain is a brand. There's a lot of them on the market. This one is fairly narrow, which I find fairly useful. So I'll put the tape on these turrets and hold them in place. So now I can tack these and I get them flush with the board. They are straight facing up and doesn't have any angles, which looks kind of nasty sometimes. The advantage of the Captain tape is that it's heat resistant and it has very good adhesion to the board, and it doesn't leave any residue. So when I'm done with the solder, it just gets right off and you have a clean board left. The next thing is, when I need to solder a header like this, I would use a breadboard and I'll just put the header all the way through, and then I'll put the board right on top of it, and I'll use something to level it like that. And what this allows me is to have the board sit right on top of the header, and then I can tack it and I have a level header that doesn't have an angle, and it looks kind of nice. Right, and the final one is I started using it when I needed to kit this cordwood board. It has, you see, a 6-pin header here and a 2-pin header here. It made sense when I was sourcing components to order just the 6-pin headers and cut the 2-pin headers out of this one. And I wanted to use a clean cut. I didn't want to waste headers by using a cutter. If you ever cut a header like that with a cutter, in this case it would be okay, but if it's a header like that, when it's a dual row, then you get quite a bit of wastage, because some of the plastic will just flake off, and you also don't get a very nice cut. So what I do is I take a knife that has a straight edge like that, and it's attached to something I can hammer on. It looks and sounds a bit crude, but it does the job, and it gives a very nice clean cut that looks like as if it came like that and it wasn't cut into pieces. So I'll just put it in the groove here. There's a convenient groove here like that, and I'll just tap it a few times. So you see it jumped off as it would, but the cut is fairly clean. It's not perfect. You can finesse it a little bit with a knife or a cutter. But in order for the thing not to fly off, I'll either use a jumper, or I'll use Captain tape right on top of it like that, and cut it again. Still jumped off, but not that far. You know, not perfect, but acceptable. Finally, don't use El Cheapo knives like this one This was dirt cheap knife, and I did something a bit aggressive with it, not too aggressive, but and it broke off, and I hurt myself. So you can see how thin that is compared to an X-Acto knife. So just don't use this cheap stuff, and be safe with it. You see, this one I use for this purpose because it's already kind of ruined. I know hammer is crude, it's a bit crude, but it really does make a nice cut, as a good knife should. Hope this was useful. Let me know what you think. Bye.